Greetings, sisters and brothers, and greetings, Facebook fam at Temple Mysteries and FoodWater Co-op. This is Brother HarKhuf, Itep Duamutef, and I just wanted to make this little video today to give you an idea of what Per Neter Kemet is about and what it is that we teach. You know, we're just going to do this little quick overview. And first of all, a Magi is a warrior priest, but I'll get into that in the next video actually. Our system is called Chem A-U-M. Chem is the melanin, that which you call blackness, which is brown on most of us, but is what makes you black, gives you your rhythm, gives you your hair, gives you your nose and lips. You understand? So it's called scientifically melanin. Mel with melanos, the Greek word for black, and or melanos, and anin, which is chemical. So melanin is the black chemical. That's what the word means. Now is the sound of the universe. Well, first of all, welcome to my new little humble temple, Per Neter Kemet. Okay, but melanin is the sound of the universe, the sound that comes from the center of the universe, the vibration that comes from the center of the universe. So Chem Om is the sound of blackness, and it's the vibration that creates form. Every form that you see has a vibration, but again we'll get into that. That's actually teachings of Magi. Right now I just wanted to give an idea of what it is we teach. So the system is called Chem Om. And M. So with each, there's just a little technique for you right there. With each of those sounds, you're going to feel a different feeling with each sound. But that's a teaching. Just try it for yourself. Anyway, so Chem Om is based on the Kemetic tree of life, the Pa Netaru. And this is a little graphic I put together. And this is your tree of life. As you can see, you have the lower level here. And then when you start to do spiritual work, you know, you start to climb the tree to the different spheres. This is actually you. It is the body of what you would call God. It is not just a diagram. It is the body. It's the way things come down to form us. The way light comes and forms us as physical beings. Okay? So in the training, we start from the lowest, where we're at now, and work our way up to each of the different spheres until we reach the highest, which is called AUSAR. AUSAR. I'll get into each of the different ones in different videos, but right now just the tree of life. And then the light, how it comes down to you, you can see the triangles or pyramids. And now above that is Amen, or Amen, that you hear at the end of each religion's prayer. Amen, Amun, Amen. That's the undifferentiated matter, the stuff that you just make everything out of, you pull out of the universe type of stuff, okay? It's unformed, but it's there, it exists. So at the lowest level, I'll read off each one. The lowest level is Geb, your physical form, your physical body. The Geb is the earth, but Geb is also a nectar. Get into that later, what they call gods. So at the Geb level, we learn health or self-healing if you need it. Things like martial art, you start off with. Your diet, basic physical needs, starting to build wealth. That deals all with the earthly level. So that's a training, it's a practice that you have to go through, and it's called the rites of passage to start dealing with the higher levels, spiritual levels of training as a Magi. The next level up is called foundation, and that level is called Uset. You might call it Isis, the Greek word. And at that level, like I said, it's called foundation, and this is, I'll read it off what it means. Uset is the principle governing the formula for spiritual development, the upliftment of the low by the high. So Uset's symbol is a seat, a chair. That means this is the foundation of spiritual development. Again, we'll get into all those things on her particular tape. The next level would be called Sabek. Sabek is what you would call your left brain. Sabek, the syllogistic, logical, intellectual faculty. Left brain focus on the parts to be applied after the whole has been perceived. Okay, so that's your left brain training, the thing that breaks everything down. This is the brain that most people on this planet use right now. Next level is Het Haru. Het Haru is the sexual energy is transformed to the will, or transferred to the will, through the imagination in trance, to arouse the life force, Ra, to achieve our goals. So this is your right brain. This is the creative side. This is where we transform sexual energy or channel sexual energy to be creative. From there we go to Haru. Most people are familiar with at least the word Haru, or where we get the word hero from. The first Avenger, he avenged his father Usaru's death. We'll get into all that later. But Haru is the free will to follow or reject divine law. This is the basis of our divinity. It is only the free element, is the only free element of our being, or in our being. Your free will is the only thing that's free. So you have the freedom to follow divine law, Ma'at, we'll get into her in a minute, or not. It's not me telling you this is divine law. Alright, from there we go to HarKhuf. HarKhuf is the offensive power of the Most High, of God. The offensive power. You understand? It's before defense, offense. This power removes all obstacles from others from our path. All obstacles that are spiritually or physically keeping you from doing the work of the Most High. That's what a Magi is. He works for the Most High. Anything that tries to stop you, the power of the Most High will stop it. Get into him later. Now, that law that we talk about, that universal law, is called Ma'at. Ma'at. Ma'at, the supreme law governing man's divinity. It is centered around our freedom to choose, free will, to follow or reject supreme law. Following the laws gives success in life. Not following the laws brings disaster. Actually, that place on the tree of life, I'm in exchange with our next sphere that I'm going to explain. Usually, on different trees of life, you'll see a sphere in the top center, just under AUSAR, which is only, it is not a true sphere. It just looks like it. They have it in dotted lines. So I'm going to switch that with my eye, with this next one, which is Shishat. Now Shishat is where we get into the divine smoking, the nectar centra, where smoking cannabis, or cannabis as they call it in the Bible, the smoking of it, the burning of it in incense, etc., were for spiritual reasons, for sacrament and so on. It wasn't just for getting high. It wasn't even used by the average person. It was just used by the priest, but we'll get into all that. So Shishat, her energy is scent ra, or where we get the word scent, frankincense, and incense from. Is the deity of cannabis or marijuana and hemp and enlightenment. She is the sister of Ma'at and the feminine side of Tehuti, who we'll talk about in a minute. She corresponds to a faculty, a power that's within your spirit, in the right side of the brain, which processes the abstract meanings of images, processes the abstract meaning of images, and aids in the internalization of the focus of consciousness. So Shishat, which is the goddess of hemp and cannabis, is responsible for impressing upon the spirit the abstract meanings of images, the medu nectar as they call it. Okay, we'll get into all her at another time. So that deals with smoking and having to bring in images to make the spirit do what you needed to do out here. After Shishat, we have Sikir. Sikir guarantees the interests of the whole as well as all the individual existences by providing the structural framework that orders their coming into being. Everything that's formed is formed from the creative energy, what we call the sexual energy. You understand? On a higher level. It is what makes everything create. So Sakir is in charge of that, and at that level we learn to control or develop the sexual. Get to that in a minute. Next is Dehuti, the deity of wisdom, or the faculty, the power within you, and the power of God, of wisdom. Dehuti, the source of intuition that shows the way to achieve the equilibrium between the interests of the whole and of the person. The things that you want to do are important, but your destiny, the things that you're supposed to do, are important too. And there's a way to have them both. You understand? And that's what Dehuti is. At the highest level, we have what's called AUSAR. AUSAR is the unifying force which obliterates and overcomes all shaping factors of individual existence. At AUSAR, you bring it all together. You understand? You're not over here and over there and all that. It's like, okay, this is who I am. This is me. Not this, but AUSAR. Okay? Outside of the tree of life is Amen, as I mentioned before. Amun, Amin. Amen is the infinite source of light and life force, the force, and spiritual matter. It is the spiritual matter that's not even formed yet, just the stuff that you just grab and make forms out of. You understand? So each one of these I'll get into on separate videos. But now we are what we might call the star religion, and not belief in religion, but religion in terms of the actual meaning of tying you back to the source. Because our motto, if you will, is to know thyself. Ye are gods and goddesses. You understand? You do it. So there are 11 laws which go with, you know, the tree of life. We call them the 11 laws of Neb-er-Chiter, which is what you call God. And these are 11 laws of the Pa'at Netaru, or the tree of life. The 11 laws are principles that explain the nature and interaction of the forces and principles that influence man's life, his/her thinking, feelings, actions, and destiny. The observance of these principles will enable the individual to live in harmony with these principles and forces, thus gaining access to God's wisdom and spiritual power. All else that is needed or is important in life will follow. They apply to the 11 spheres of spiritual influence, or tree of life, operating in what you call